Thanks so much for tuning into the trade setup. Fairly active day in the offing today. I'm Neeraj Shah. Let's take stock of the global news flow first. The Fed has said almost unequivocally, or at least select members of the Fed have said almost unequivocally that interest rates would need to rise between 5 to 5.25% and then remain there until well into 2024. Now, a couple of people have said this from different constituencies of the Fed, but effectively, this now means that the first of the rate cuts, if at all, will come in only in 2024. BofA Goldman, one of the two, right? I think BofA 2 days ago mentioned that they expect the first cuts to come in only in March 2024. Of course, puts into question what could happen to emerging markets in India if the Fed is indeed so hawkish. S&P 500 closed near the lowest in 6 weeks, and the 10-year yield pierced the closely watched 4% level yesterday. And of course, it's an important day from an assembly polls perspective. Advantage BJP in Tripura and Nagaland as per the exit polls. Meghalaya may be a bit of a close call. I think the market will also be keeping a small, keen eye out there, at least the Indian markets. So, like I said, the S&P 500 closed near the lowest in 6 weeks. The US markets will come up. The Dow was, I think, flattish. Yeah, flattish, but the S&P and the Nasdaq certainly closed lower, led no doubt by the tech stocks. And the other cues, as I said, the 10-year yield, arguably the most important thing to monitor, the US 10-year yield, and that was 4.01. I think we're getting this thing wrong. Viewers, excuse us. It was not up 40 bips. So ignore that. Just look at the level. 4.01 is the key thing. And the SGX Nifty should come up on your screen next, at least the levels. And let's try and figure out what's happening there. Cuts of about 1/3%. 17,464, so in or around the 200-day moving average mark. So what's the trade setup therefore for the day today? I think the global sentiment may hit a smart uptick possibility post yesterday's bounce. I was thinking that since what happened, post what happened yesterday, we might actually have a bit of a follow-on move, but the global sentiment is weak and that might hit that possibility. But pockets to keep in mind might be PSU Banks. Yesterday, there was some significant short covering led move. Some of the PSU banks moved above some key moving averages, the likes of SBI, POB, etc., and may become the sector to watch today. And actually, to my mind, aside of the market mood around PSU banks, because of the order wins, defense and railway stocks will be the key focal point post the large order wins that have come out. Mind you, those stocks are the ones to focus on. Let's talk about stocks to focus since we're talking about that piece. I'll watch out. Start off with the Adani Group stocks because for the last 2 days, they've been very active. Yesterday's session, almost all of the Adani Group stocks ended in the green. Now, two things out there. Supreme Court will issue the order today on petitions that sought a probe into the Adani Hindenburg issue. And the Adani Group itself has denied the report that it got a $3 billion loan from sovereign wealth funds, as per Bloomberg. Now, the point is, the report was filed by Reuters yesterday, and Bloomberg is carrying the story that the Adani Group has denied the report that it's gotten this $3 billion funding. So no big news out there, but for the fact that the $3 billion loan is not happening. But considering the kind of price movement in the last 2 days and what the screen was telling us yesterday on the group stocks, it'll be interesting to see what they do today. Standard disclaimer, of course, Adani Group is in the process of acquiring 49% stake in Quintillion Business Media, which is the owner of BQ Prime, which is the platform on which you are watching this. Then, like I said, the defense and the railway stocks. So RVNL and Consortium and BHL and Consortium are the ones which have emerged as the lowest bidders, L1 and L2, for supply of 200 Vande Bharat train sets. The cost of these trains is about 120 crores each. Now, the point is, some of this, I think, as the rule suggests or the rule stipulates, that this order is split between L1 and L2 in that sense. So therefore, both RVNL and BHEL potentially stand to gain. Suppliers, JV partners stand to gain. Others in the fray, which were expected to bag some part of the order, may stand to lose sentimentally. So do watch out for all of these. Remember, BHEL was up about 5% in trade yesterday already. So watch out for RVNL, watch out for BSNL. Clearly, there will be some fireworks in those stocks today in today's session. So watch out for those stocks. Then HAL, the cabinet has approved buying 70 carrier aircrafts from HAL, and separately the companies also said that the board is going to consider dividend. Now we don't have the size of this aircraft order, but I would presume from the looks of it that 70 carrier aircrafts would mean a large order. Remember, this is executable over a period of time, not just, it doesn't happen just like in the next 1 to 2 years. But I presume that this brings into account some bit of positivity for HAL. There's separately some news flow and chatter around, and I couldn't find that news, so therefore I'm not talking about Bharat Forge. But there's some news flow around how Bharat Forge is also been shortlisted for an order. Now, if indeed all of that is true, then defense stocks and railway stocks, both of that come in focus. Remember, a lot of auto ANGs supply to both defense and railways some critical part, and therefore those stocks also become in focus. So that space, that whole space might be active today. It was active yesterday. I would suspect it will continue to remain active today. MCX, I would reckon, is in focus because of this piece of news that NSE's gotten the SEBI nod for natural gas and WTI crude futures contracts. Now, typically a firm getting into a market like NSE's, the dominance on equities, so somebody else coming to equities may not necessarily prove to be a dampener. Similarly, MCX is entrenched. People use that MCX software throughout, right? So exchanges. So therefore, it may not dampen it, but I would suspect that national stock exchanges is strong, is a behemoth, uh, decent reach, and therefore maybe even sentimentally, who knows, that could become a bit of a negative. There's of course the monthly ADTV and price performance data also out. Morgan Stanley's come out with a note on MCX, and they say that the average daily traded value, a key driver of profits and share price, and in February the ADTV was up about 12% month on month owing to higher volumes in options. But the stock was down 7.4% during the month, while the Sensex was down 1%. Maybe that's why, while they have an underweight, uh, who knows, MCX might be an interesting play today. Now, it could well be that MCX was also down, preempting that NSE will get such a thing as well. And maybe it is discounted. So difficult to say. I believe the news is negative, but you have to keep in mind that some of the pain might also be in the price for MCX. So be mindful of that. Suntech Realty should certainly be happy because the company's has released that they might get about 2,000 crores, or they will get about 2,000 crore rupees from Upgrad for a lease of 29 years. So commercial premises leased out to Upgrad for a really long time, and they get a large sum of money. Obviously, all of this will not be upfront; it's spread over a period of time, but it's an interesting um, thing, and a large one at that. I would suspect Suntech Realty could react positively today. There is news from, there is a analysis on the price movement of United Breweries from MK Alternative Research. So I'm bringing that to you. No, sorry. So excuse me for this. The source is not Bloomberg, but nevertheless, let it be. Let the plate be. And let's just talk about what's happened there. So the stock rose 1.2% yesterday, increased for the third consecutive session. The delivery volumes for United Breweries were 53% versus the monthly average of 44%. And therefore, it saw buying in the cash segment. And the stock is reverting upwards from an oversold zone with a positive MACD crossover and a rising RSI, both of which, according to MK, mean that there could be some more upsides here. So do watch out for this one. Now, what has come from Bloomberg is this piece of news on EKI Energy Services. They say that Singapore-based Impact Capital plans to raise as much as $125 million to supply energy-efficient stubs to families in India and Africa. They'll generate returns for investors by selling carbon credits. But Improve Cook Stubbs Carbon Fund, which is the fund that is managed by Impact Capital Asset Management, has partnered with EKI Energy Services for the same, because IKEA will invest the money and also make the stubs. So this could be positive for IKEA and these services. Remember, the stock, I think, ruled northwards of 3,000, then really came off like a pack of cards and went down all the way to whatever, 700, 600, 500, as the case may be. This news prima facie seems to be positive. I think it makes sense to understand from the company, which we will try and do today, about what the impact of this could be. So we will be trying the management today to try and understand what kind of earnings impact comes in because of something like this. But prima facie, viewers, it does seem positive. The fact that they are willing to invest $25 million as well into this shows some intent. Maybe IKEA Energy Services could be trading positive today. Watch out for autos as well. The numbers have come out, most of them, and have been digested. But I just thought it might make sense to just try and do some basic analysis of what's happened in autos. So the PV wholesales for major players moderated to about 11% YOY. Tractor surprised positively with 23 to 25% YOY growth. I'm not getting graphics for that, but that's okay. Just hear me out. Um, and exports remain affected across two-wheeler players with a 40 to 52% YOY decline. Remember, wholesale growth was 20% for Eicher Motors and 10% for Hero, but for Bajaj and TVS wasn't the best, and therefore those stocks. Okay, I did give graphics. Sorry, I forgot about it, but these are the points, right? So, uh, uh, you know that what's done well is tractors, very strong numbers there, and Eicher Motors continue to do well. Uh, Hero was okay. Bajaj obviously was not, and we cited this 2 days ago that Bajaj has issues because Nigeria has issues. So, therefore, nothing on unexpected lines. Yesterday, I was looking at the two-wheeler stocks. Save for TVS, which was a surprise disappointment, almost everything else was flat, despite the news being marginally negative. So, no great shakes there. So, by the way, viewers, what I've not given for sure is a news bit uh, on credit access Grameen, wherein income tax demand for assessment year 19 has been reduced from 2,333 crores to 122 crores under fresh assessment, and therefore a large potential outflow is not going to happen. Now, I don't know if credit access Grameen was disputing this and therefore they've not paid it, or they've paid it and they'll get a refund. But either way, an outflow of over 2,000 crores, right, over 2,100 or 2,200 crores will not happen. Yeah, 2,200 crores nearly will not happen as a result of this assessment. This should be positive. I mean, it'll open gap up only. You won't be able to trade it. But yeah, just keep in mind that credit access Grameen will certainly be in focus today. So these are a few names that I'm certainly watching out for. Um, uh, this could be very, very interesting day of trade today. So watch out for that. Okay, HAL, I think the number is close to about 6,800 crores. So even that stock certainly remains in focus. Railways, defense, maybe an MCX, Suntech Realty, all of these would be in focus today. Thanks so much for tuning in. We have a fabulous set of guests today to talk about what's happening around the world, because frankly, it's the global picture which is driving the sentiment around the world. So Sonal Verma joins in and talks about the global slowdown impacting India growth, and if there is an El Nino year, then what could happen there? I'm really looking forward to that conversation, and then getting a really smart global voice to talk about how does he see India in the current world. Mark Matthews, head of Asia Research at Julius Baer, would join in at 10 a.m. on Talking Point to talk about the same. Thanks so much for tuning into the Trade Setup today. Have a great day ahead.